everyone checked in. And so as I call your name, if you could just unmute for me and let me confirm if there's a name on the screen, whether it's correct or not, and who you're representing here today, whether it's the applicant owner or someone else on the applicant team or an adjacent property owner or someone else. So I will start with Dean Ferlin.
GBBN Architects, applicant on behalf of the owner.
Okay, great. Welcome. Thank you. I see we have two gentlemen in the conference room under Half Pint.
So Ted Huster with GBBN, project manager, and Ivan.
Ivan Cho, also GBBN, project designer.
Okay. Could you each spell your last names for me?
Ivan Cho, ZHEUNG.
And Huster is HUSTER.
Okay. Thanks, gentlemen. I have it's like Doug Westy.
Yes, Doug Woosty, a civil engineer with the Clangers Group, representing the owner.
Okay, great. Welcome. And so we have Wes Menzel here from the zoning department. Welcome, Wes.
Good afternoon.
And a Hudapol, R. Hudapol.
Rob Hudapol, representing Turner Construction, the CM on the project. Morning.
Okay, good morning. Great. And it looks like Mr. Chung, are you trying to sign in on another device?
Yes. There will be some images that we'll be sharing from my laptop.
Okay, great. Could you just, as I bring you in, could you make sure that the audio
I already
and the speakers are turned off on the other device so there's no echo? Great, thanks.
Thank
we have one other individual here with us. I believe is still with us under Steve, and I believe you're in a car. So are you operating the vehicle?
I am, and but I'm stopped. But my name is Steve Mombach, Mombach, and I'm with TriHealth. Okay,
Steve, I'll need you to not be operating the vehicle in order to participate in the hearing.
Yeah.
And so
no,
you can
I'm
be
good.
inside
Okay.
it. I'll just need you to if you want to participate at all. Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Right, sure. All right. On the are we expecting anyone else to join us here on the applicant owner side of this project, or are we ready to proceed?
We may get Amy Hayden and Rob Epling from TriHealth.
Okay. Would you like to wait for them, or are you ready to proceed now?
I think we can proceed.
Okay, great. All right. I need to read through our hearing script. This will basically just cover the procedure for the hearing, and then we will get started. So this is the December 13th, 2023 session of the Zoning Hearing Examiner docket. My name is David Sturkey. I'm the Zoning Hearing Examiner. The case before us today is case number ZH20230171. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any potential opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the Zoning Hearing Examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any potential opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. If we did have anyone here from the public, they would have an opportunity to speak after the applicant has presented its case. I'll hear from Wes Menzel, the zoning plans examiner, to provide any testimony in addition to his staff report. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to rebut that testimony and or argument offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. So for our purposes here today, I know that we have a lot of folks here that are working on the project. You all can orient the presentation however you'd like. One of you can speak, two of you can speak, all of you can speak. It's really up to you. Again, how you'd like to present this. I'll then go to Wes, hear from Wes. I'll have some questions along the way, and then I'll allow again any of you to make any closing remarks if you would like. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties with the Zoom technology, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those on the fly, but to the extent there's some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with this hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay, last thing I need to do is just swear in all of our witnesses. If you intend on providing any testimony here today, asking any questions, making any comments, really doing anything other than just strictly observing, then the zoning code requires that I swear you in. So if that's you and you know you'd like to provide some testimony here today, I'm going to collectively swear you in all together right now. If you're not sure, I can always swear you in later when and if you decide to provide testimony. But again, if you know you'd like to offer something today, if you could go ahead and take yourself off of mute now. I'll need all of you to raise your right hand and to answer out loud. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
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 Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. Let's see, who's going to be taking the lead here for us on the presentation?
So what I would propose is that we'll have Ivan do a quick overview of the project just to get you up to speed on what we're talking about. Probably 5 to 7 minutes, and then any questions that you have from that. We've reviewed the report from Wes and we're in complete alignment with it. So feel confident that everything's being presented.
Great. Okay, Mr. Chung, the floor is yours.
All right. So I'm just going to give a very brief and high-level general introduction to the project. And first of all, thank you for giving the opportunity here to speak about the project, and we're happy to be here to answer questions that is related to the project. So I'm doing this in a very high level that where the project is situated in the city of Cincinnati, and how from an architect standpoint, how this should be also serving the city. So first of all, because the project is on the west end of the innovation corridor, which is the main spine of MLK. And we know that along the overall innovation corridor, there has been a lot of important, anchoring institutes for the city, including Children's Hospital, UC Health, UC Campus, the zoo, and also obviously TriHealth. So knowing that throughout the years, there has been significant architectural developments through the innovation corridor from the east, I-71, all the way towards the west. And we're observing that the UC Health, and Children's has been doing a lot of things to make the innovation corridor more and more prominent for the city. So having that opportunity, being located at the site here, the red dot is our site. Representing TriHealth and also the city's opportunity to make the west end of the innovation corridor be a more prominent presence to the city and become a more welcoming presence towards inviting towards this district. So currently, this is what we're having. It is a employee team member garage for TriHealth for Good Sam campus. And it is being built many years ago, half a century ago, with a bare concrete. So this project is going to be replacing this structure and become a new extension of the service towards the city. So I'm going to share the current renderings of this new build. So in replacement of that garage, this new building is going to take on the architectural heritage and language for the existing campus, but introducing a more transparency in the meaning of that it is becoming a more inviting architecture to the city, and having the public be able to see inside and also the inside to see outside, having more of a softer touch to the corner. And hopefully this will become a more inviting moment anchoring the corner.
David, this is a view from Dixmyth looking into the site, and then in the back you see a slope going up the hill. That is not Martin Luther King. That's actually called South Drive, which is on the campus. Go ahead.
Okay.
Thanks.
So in this building, we do have just talk about the major programs, including an emergency department, a new cancer institute, new surgery center, and outpatient imaging diagnostics, not only outpatient, but also servicing the campus. And there are obviously ancillary supporting programs for those major programs. The design is having the building to resolve all the up and downs of the site. So connecting, cascading down from the current Dixmyth arrival and all the way down to the arrival for the emergency center that is connecting the intersection of MLK and Dixmyth. And being that said, with the more transparency introduced to the building, that especially during the nighttime, that the ambient and the atmosphere in the inside will be also shining out and illuminating the city and welcoming all the people that are coming in and giving it a warmer tone for the overall city edge. So finally, just having a quick overview of the site plan. As you see, the new build is at the center of the image, and it is replacing the current garage that we showed a few moments ago. And around it, it is connecting the current Dixmyth arrival plaza. Also in front of it will be an ED parking servicing it on its north side. At the south, between the building and the South Drive, would be an ambulance drop off and also a new loading dock servicing the overall campus. There are 3 vehicular access. One is an ED access for the patients, a truck access that is coming up from Dixmyth across Whitfield, and also a EMS access is now not connected to Dixmyth, but connected to the South Drive, off South Drive, into the site. So this is a very quick overview of the overall project. If you have any questions, let us know.
Okay. No, I don't think I have any questions about any of that. No.
Thank
you. Yeah, thank you for that. Was there anyone that wanted to go over the specific variance requests and zoning relief requests and sort of a summary of why they believe that they're appropriate?
Doug Woosty, is that something you want to handle, or is that something that Wes's report covers?
I can touch on it. I don't know, Wes, would you want to cover that through your report? I mean, you were pretty thorough kind of in your report, but I'm happy to go through kind of some of the things where we came to the conclusion of. Sure,
great. Yeah. Just, I mean, particularly some of the hillside relief and yeah, just why they're necessary, why this couldn't be constructed without the relief, and why you think it's appropriate generally.
Sure. So as far as the hillside relief, a lot of it's really just a matter of the existing conditions that we're more or less kind of replacing. So I think Wes spoke to in his report. The garage itself currently acts as a retaining wall for the South Drive condition. So one of our big hillside relief actions is that large wall that you see just south of the loading dock. I can pull up Wes's report if that helps.
Sure. Yeah, I have it here as well.
You do have it? Okay, I'll share.
Yeah, but no, that works. It's better if you have the cursor.
But that's ultimately, yeah. So this wall is more or less we still have to retain this active South Drive. So that is the trigger for that need for the hillside, is that wall will need to be put in there when the garage comes down. Beyond that, everything else with the wall and the fills is simply a matter of replacing almost the conditions that are there today, which I could share my screen. So it's hard to see, but back by the loading dock, that there is a pretty significant wall back here. So ultimately what it's really doing is just shifting from there to there, as Ivan showed. And when we try to have that more or less that marriage between the upper existing building and the lower parking lot level, there's a need for the larger wall right here in this location. And I think, Wes, was that the extent of the hillside? I think that was the extent of the hillside items.
Well, I mean, the hillside also covered retaining wall height and the I guess the overall cut and fill. But as
correct, yeah, but I guess it was, yeah, the fill, yeah, and the fill here was all pretty much just a backfill of that retaining wall. Since it's over 8 feet of wall, it doesn't need that 8 feet because our intent is that that becomes a future extension of that existing Dixmyth Arrival current parking lot. It'll become a future drop off point. So we need some fill behind that wall.
It might also be relevant just to point out that the tower building itself is not in the hillside, just the
Correct.
hillside is kind of surrounding it. So, technically we have the hillside aspects, but functionally it's, kind of using a very small site for a very efficient design and, access and such.
And then the next thing, David, was that the buffer yard and the parking in regard to that. It's really a matter of just the constraint of just the space that we have on site. So with ED, it's very critical that we have that parking very close to the front entrance. I mean, people are in a state of emergency and a need to get there, and they don't want to be searching around for a parking space. So it was a critical item. So that ultimately what that ended up doing is ended up pushing our parking lot as close as we can get it to the property line and still having to have that retaining wall, and that we do have that landscape buffering to make sure that we're shielding headlights from the neighboring from across the street, and we're doing everything we can to conceal this parking lot so that it's not an eyesore and it doesn't have a negative impact across the street. But it was critical that we have that parking adjacent and nearby the entrance, and with doing that, we weren't able to meet the required landscape buffer yard given our building height.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. What about the last, in his report, it's the last piece of relief with the stone faced walls?
Yes, and that's something that we ultimately, just the current goal is to have a corridor that kind of mimics what's here existing.
Mhm.
So that was the intent, is that when you're coming up Dixmyth, it again, as Ivan spoke to, it's a kind of marrying between the building, the new and the proposed. So this wall today doesn't have that. It's like an Ivan or Ted, I don't know if you can speak to that material type, but it's not exactly a stone face. But our plan, David, is that the wall that you're going to see on Dixmyth coming around here will be a similar aesthetic of what is here today on this wall.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that
Okay.
that existing material is like a drive it type finish, I believe. Is that correct, Ivan?
Yeah, it's a ephes with a kind of a multi-layer paint to mimic stone, mimic kind of an aggregate of marble.
Okay. All right. Doug, anything else right now?
I think that's it for me.
Okay. Wes, I'm gonna, unless there's anyone else from the applicant team, I was gonna turn it over to Wes. Wes, anything you want to add?
Maybe we'll just supplement the discussion of the wall there along Dixmyth. It looks like they've got pretty substantial landscaping along the wall, for most of the wall. And then there's a portion where there's a fiber optic line or something that might limit the plantings. But overall, I think the site is, replacing the original garage and within another building in the same exact location, and kind of integrating all their functions and access points into the design to make it work. Access, easy access to the ER or ED department. That kind of functional relationship is required for the the success of the new space. So overall, everything seemed reasonable to me. So.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Is there an existing helicopter
Yes,
pad or landing site
there's
here?
a existing helipad or port or whatever you want to call it over at the southeast quadrant of the existing building. And they are moving that to, above the new emergency department on this new
Gotcha.
tower. So.
Yeah, it's currently above the existing emergency department on the other side of campus, like Wes said, where it's currently at.
Okay. All right. I don't think I have any other questions, guys. Is there anything else in closing or otherwise from anyone you'd like to provide before we adjourn here today? Okay.
This is Steve Mombach from Tri-Health, and I did raise my hand, and I'm not driving, so I promise you. Just want to thank the city. We were very cognizant of making sure that aesthetics, that this really wasn't, not only did we care about the community and care how we looked up coming up MLK, but we cared also about the safety of everything going on. So appreciate the city and the support that you've always provided us. So thank you.
Sure. Okay, let's leave it at that. I have had a chance to review the application materials and the staff report. Based on that, based on the testimony that I've heard here today, I am going to approve the application. I think it would be impractical to strictly enforce the zoning code to this project. I think it'll be an overall improvement for the hospital and for the actual site itself. So I need to formalize that approval in a written decision. I know a few of you have been through this process before. That generally takes about 2 weeks. As soon as I finish the decision, I put it into a PDF and I email it to everybody who's in hearing here today. So you'll have a copy of it really just moments after it's complete. Once Wes has that, he can approve the zoning, and hopefully you guys can move forward or take the next step. I will note that as I look at the calendar here, it does look like Christmas falls between now and 2 weeks. So I'll do everything I can to get this out to you before the end of the year. But two weeks, give or take, I would say at this point. If you want an update, a status update on where I'm at with the decision, feel free to reach out to me directly, and I'm happy to provide that to you. Any questions now?
Rob Hudipole, can you comment on the bulk oxygen and natural gas pad permit? Do you need that before the 2 weeks, or are we good till January?
We originally were looking to start December 26th. We were going to submit our earth retention drawings to you guys. Upon this conversation, they're ready to go. If we need to react, David, we can accommodate that. I know everything in the cages is approved, minus just the west part, but I'm not trying to step over anything. But that was our original goal. But if we need to push that, accommodate the letter, we can, unless there's a way around it.
So David, we have a building permit submittal that is for our bulk oxygen and natural gas relocation. It's shown on the site plan that we're asking you to approve, but they're both sort of enabling small projects that I don't think there's any aspect that's not being met from a zoning standpoint. Just wondering if we could authorize Wes to approve that in the interim, knowing that your approval is coming for the larger building. That's all.
So is this zoning approval holding up the permit approval for the gas relocation? Is that right?
Yes, because it's the gas relocation is shown on the site plan as part of the submittal for the new build. It's all packaged together.
Gotcha. Okay. And the intention was to start this before the end of the year, start that relocation before the end of the year?
Yes, sir. Just the site work out there.
Okay.
And again, we could show you a drawing. It's actually on the south side of South Drive. It's a very small portion. We just are trying to get ahead of that. And again, this is just a relocation for Duke's service and oxygen, and those are two existing services on campus. We're just relocating them to the south side.
Got it. Okay. Wes, do you have any insight on that? Is there conditional approval that they can get immediately, knowing that this will be approved, or do they need my full decision?
I'm not really sure how that would work. I don't know if I can approve it without your written decision, but
is it the building plans that would be in charge of doing the other permit approval?
well, it sounds like Rob, have you submitted your permit for this already to the building department?
Yes,
You said everyone else has reviewed it and approved it except for zoning?
Yep. And this is not the permit for the main job, just to relocate, just a small portion, so we can start the enabling and give us plenty of time for the main package. But it looks like everything's been signed off, and it's just in zoning, which I think was part of this conversation.
I mean, I could probably do a conditional. I think we've done that one time before, thinking about it a little bit. Because we know David's said he's going to approve it verbally, and it's all in the record and everything. So I don't know. I guess I could probably do that.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Wes and I can put our heads together, and if Wes can't do that, I'll try to expedite this on my end, and just
Okay.
move it up the queue a little bit. But
Appreciate
let
that,
us
David.
talk about it, and if for any reason we can't get this moved up, we'll let you know.
Rob,
work?
do you
Thank
know
you.
the permit number offhand for that?
I do. It is 2023. That. Second. Two 2023 P is in pig 10559. And I can forward that to you too, Wes.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
no problem. Good luck on the project, guys. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me or Wes. And yeah, have a great rest of the day, and